Hi everybody and welcome back to JewelsKnits with Bamma. This is my podcast where I talk about all my knitting and crafting adventures. If you're coming back after the first episode, thank you. And if you are new here, thanks for finding me. I've got quite a few things to share today. I just wanted to throw out a little disclaimer. I've got both of my kids home today. One has a tooth problem, so she's out of school until we can get her to the dentist. And the baby is upstairs napping for now. But if you hear some noises in the background, I got a full family here and I'm just trying to kind of fit it in where I can. So thanks for joining me and let's get started. So I wanted to start off by what I'm wearing. Last episode, this was still a whip, but I have since finished it. I'm going to pop in pictures because it's a little bit tricky to get on and off, but I'm so excited. This is my Shawlography by Stephen West, and I started this so long ago, I don't even have the original ball bands anymore, but I know that it's Wonderland Yarns. It's a fingering weight shawl. It was the 2021 mystery knit along that Stephen West does every year. And I'm so happy, so happy to have this done. Like I talked about a little bit in the last podcast, I kind of started it a little late, but within the MCAL, and then Christmas knitting took over and this kind of got put to the back burner. And I picked it up after Christmas and I'm finally done. I love his patterns because he always pushes people to go outside of their comfort zone and try new things. I was super excited because he had brioche in there, and that is the first time I've ever done a brioche, and it was just so fun. These little crisscrosses were a little bit tedious to make, but like overall I think that they just like work perfect in the pattern. And then the only thing that I changed about this is that in the pattern it called to have all 5 colors in this border, and I only did 4 because I thought that the 4 colors went really well together and I didn't want to kind of mesh that up by putting the green in there. And I think I like it. So yeah, I'm so happy to have this off the needles finally. I wore it to knit night with my friend. And it's super warm. I just love it. So that's my first FO. Okay, so my next FO, you guys, next 2 FOs, you guys haven't even seen yet because I didn't have them on the needles last time I podcasted. This was in between podcasts. Someone in my life reached out to me and was like, hey, do you care to make a pair of socks? And I kind of thought about it and I was like, man, I haven't done socks in so long because that's what I did for everybody for Christmas. And I was kind of like burnt out with socks and, you know, doing my own thing. But then I kind of found that I had like a lot of big projects going, and I love my muscle burra hats. I'll always have one on the needles, but I just kind of wanted something that wasn't a big project, but wasn't endless knitting in the round, basically. So I went to Hand Knits in Brattleboro, which is a local yarn shop to me, and I grabbed a sock set. This yarn is the Dream in Color Socket Club Smushy. I think I have, yes, I do. This is like their logo. And it is a 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon base. I've never worked with this specific yarn, but I can say that I absolutely loved it, and I will definitely be getting more of it in the future. So here it is. I made some socks for myself. It came with this main color and the mini. I didn't see a colorway name on there, but it's kind of like this really pretty blue, and then obviously the green. It's showing up on camera pretty true to color. And peep the little sock blockers that my husband made. Fun story. I really love when my husband makes me things for knitting, and I actually thought at some point maybe I'll do a video on all the things that my husband has made me for my knitting. But this is one of them. So I made myself a pair of socks because I desperately need more knit socks. I'm finding that I'm really loving them nowadays, and I find that if I knit them out of the fingering weight, I can wear them all year round. And then I also have like some in DK weight and whatnot, but I really only wear those in the winter. So that was finished object number 2. But once I knit these, I kind of got my knitting mojo back for socks, and I had some yarn left over. So I made my older daughter a pair of matching socks out of what I had left. And let me tell you, when I say that I had like this much yarn left, I'm not even kidding. I had like just enough. So that tells me that her feet are getting bigger, because I've always been able to get a pair of socks for me and for her out of one ball. And now we're barely making it. So yeah. So those are 2 finished objects that you guys never even saw as whips. But it felt really good to get my sock mojo back, because it's something that I really do enjoy knitting. And you'll see in whips that I have another one going already. So yeah, my next finished object is something that I'm so excited about. My husband loves the muscle burra hats. I make them for him. I almost always have one on the needles for him lately. And last episode, I shared that I went down to Knit New Haven on a little road trip and got some spin cycle yarn and started a muscle burra for him. And I've since finished it. So this is the ball band. This is spin cycle. It is 100% American wool. In the colorway Burning Sensation. It says that it's a sport weight. Oh yeah, it's the dyed in the wool, the spin cycle dyed in the wool. I didn't say that. It says it's a sport weight. I really was able to get like a fingering weight gauge out of it. But I just absolutely love this. Like, guys, like I can't. Every time I look at it, I'm like amazed. I just got this off my noodles this morning. I was like, I cannot podcast until I have this to show, because I'm so close. But the thing I love about spin cycle is it obviously fades, but then he can also wear it like this, and it's like a whole different mood, guys. Like, look at how much more moody this side is. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to put pictures, like take pictures of him in this. It looks so good on him. Like, and it's so like, I just love spin cycle yarn. It might not be something that I can definitely like knit with all the time, because it is a little bit of a higher price point, but man, was this a nice treat. And it flew off my needles. So that's my muscle burra. Okay, and then my last FO is something that I also hadn't started last podcast, and it's not something I really do all the time, but for I've always really wanted to do spinning and try out spinning, and for Christmas my mother-in-law got me a drop spindle and, you know, the works. And so I did a lot of spinning, and it was super thick and thin, and you know, I was just like, you know, whatever, I'll just throw it into like a little swatch and kind of hang it on my wall in my yarn room, just to you know, have as a memory. But I suddenly got the urge to spin again the other day. I was home with my daughter who had a stomach bug, and I just felt like spinning, and she was sleeping on the couch, so I pulled out the drop spindle and I picked a color out of my mill end bag that I got for Christmas, and I spun something up. And this is the first spin that I've done where it's still definitely thick and thin, but like I feel like I got more of a consistent, I was able to get more of a consistent spin. So I think this is probably along the lines of like a sport weight. But so this is it. I love it how sparkly it is. I'm just gonna throw this in my stash. I was thinking to myself how fun it would be to do the like the flicker and flame hat by Andrea Mowry out of it. It's getting a little blown out. Maybe if I, yeah, see, that's a little more true to color. But I was thinking maybe like this could be the color work in the flicker and flame. The other thought I had was to throw it into, oh, what's it called? I can't remember. I've got so many whips going now. The sweater, 1x1 color. Woolen Pine makes it. I don't know. I'll get to it. I'll think about it and I'll remember like when I'm done filming. But anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of myself for that. And I'm thinking maybe my goal is to just get like at least one mini skein a month, and we'll see where it goes. So that's all for my FOs. I did have a pretty heavy acquisition week, so let me gather all that together and then I will be back. Okay, so let's get into my acquisitions. The first one I wanted to talk about, one of my closest friends texted me last week and needs a birthday present made and loves the muscle burra hats that I do, and asked me if I would make one for someone in her life. I'm being very vague about this because I'm not sure if this person will see this or not. So of course I did. I love to knit for other people. It makes me super happy. So she bought the yarn. I told her what I would need and she bought it and she sent it to my house, and it just came in yesterday. So she picked this very moody, this is Knit Picks Hawthorne fingering weight blackbird kettle dye. It's 357 yards per 100 grams. 80% superwash Highland wool, 20% polyamide. But I just, oh my gosh, like this, guys, is going to be so pretty in a muscle burra. I can't wait to see like how the different tones knit up, and it's like so squishy. Anytime anyone asks me to make something and they're buying the yarn, I always send them over to Knit Picks because it's, you know, it's a quality yarn, and it's, you know, I honestly love like the hand dyed, you know, go to your local yarn shop, but there's something to be said about just the way Knit Picks does their yarn. I don't know. It's just a tried and true, affordable yarn. So I'm super excited. I just finished the other Musselburgh. Musselburgh. Are we really going to get into debate on this podcast? Musselburgh, I don't know. I just finished the other Musselburgh, so I'm going to cast this on today, and this will be kind of my grab and go project. So there's that. So my next acquisition is something that I did not plan on getting. However, me and my friend do knit night every other week, once a month sort of thing. We go to a local Mexican restaurant and we drink margaritas and we knit together. And she happened to mention that Hypnotic Yarn was doing a shop update. And so we both kind of got on because, you know, her stuff tends to go pretty fast. So we both kind of got on and we're like refreshing it. And at some point along the way, we ended up like forgetting that we were trying to shop the update because we were just talking and like knitting and whatnot. And finally I'm like, oh crap, the update. So we like ferociously went to our phones And the yarn I got a ball for me and a ball for her. The ball she wanted, like she specifically was shopping the update for this and she didn't get it, but I did. So she'll be happy to have that. And then the one I got, I just fell in love with the color. I didn't even look at like what the base was or anything. So that was fun because it was a super fun surprise. For those of you who don't know, Hypnotic Yarns is the person who puts out the Yarnable sock box. I think it's like a, you know, monthly subscription where you can get either 1 or 2 skeins of fingering or DK weight sock yarn. I've done it before. I absolutely love it. The only reason that I stopped doing it was just because I had like so many sock yarns that I was trying to get through. But it's definitely something I'm going to do in the future. So anyhow, the yarn I got for her is this one. It's like this beautiful, oh, it's kind of, that's getting blown out. Ah, that's better. And this is the Hypnotic logo. It's called You're Cute. It's on the high twist plush sock base. It's fingering 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. And like, guys, it's beautiful. I just love it so much. And I'm kind of jealous that I bought it for her because I kind of want to keep it for myself now. But yeah, so that's the first ball I got. And then this one is like, it is bright, guys, but I couldn't help it. It was just so different. And I saw it and was like, yep, that's the one I want. And I threw it in my cart, not even looking at like what base it was or anything. So here it is. I love this. It is called Devil in a Blue Dress on her Helix fingering base. It's 100% superwash merino. And again, her, I don't know if the ring light is making it not shiny, but anyways, that's her logo. Guys, when I tell you, like, this is another one. It is so smooshy. And like when I saw it, I was thinking like, oh my God, that needs to be a pair of socks. But of course, I didn't look at the base, and I don't know if I want to make, oh my God, like, guys, I don't know if I want to make socks out of something that's 100% wool. So I think this might be a muscle burra for myself. I'm also like thinking about like doing a swatch and seeing how the different chunks knit up, because I think it would be really cool with all the different colors and like some of it being zebra and some of it just being regular. I'm also thinking that this might be fun to do in like something that's color work. But I'm not sure. I'm not one of those people who can like look at a ball of yarn and tell just by how it's spun, I mean, how it's dyed, what it's going to do. Like if it's going to be chunky or if it's going to be like, I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. Anyways, absolutely love this. If you guys have never heard of Hypnotic Yarn, you should definitely go check her out. She's awesome. I'm pretty sure she's from New Hampshire too. But yeah, so that's my next acquisition. My last acquisition, well, I guess really it's 2 acquisitions, but it's kind of a cool story. So a couple weeks ago, I kind of went through my yarn stash and I realized that I haven't touched, I had a ton of acrylic yarns. Because that's primarily like what I used to knit with before I kind of switched over to the, you know, the wools and the more hand-dyed stuff. And there's nothing wrong with acrylic yarn. I just, when I knit, I feel like I love the way the wool feels more. And so I haven't really touched it. And I had like these huge totes just sitting in my yarn room, not being loved. And I just think that like it's yarn, it needs to be loved. So I put, I'm sorry if you can hear my kids jumping around upstairs. Their bedroom is like literally right above me and they're playing in there. But anyways, so I put a post on my town's Facebook page saying, hey, just calling all knitters, crocheters, crafters. I have all this yarn that I'm not really using. There's nothing wrong with it. I've just kind of moved on from using acrylics and it's great yarn and I think it needs to find a home where it's going to be loved. And I was able to give away like 3 huge, I mean huge, like tote bags of acrylic yarns to like 3 different knitters in my town, which I didn't even know there was that many knitters here. Like, there's, you know, it's so cool to find out that there's other people near me who do that. But I ended up giving them giving away a ton of it. And someone commented on my post and said, "Yay for wool." And they had a farm up the road from me where they have sheep and they do wool. And they invited me to come over and bring my girls and show them the sheep. And they're about to have lambs. And they wanted to give me a ball of their wool. So I thought that was so fun. And of course I did. And I loved the woman. She's super nice. And I think we're going to be really good friends. But she gave me this. The farm is called Fulham Meadow Farm. It's in Winchester, New Hampshire. This is 100% copperworth bulky. And it's a natural undyed. This is their logo. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this, but it's, oh my, like, I love it. A lot of times, like, I have a harder time with, like, the non-superwash, because I'm a little bit sensitive, but I love to knit with it, and, like, this is so, like, I could wear this on my skin, guys. Like, I could make a sweater out of this. It is so, so amazing. So she gave me that, which I was, you know, super thankful for. And I also, this next thing really, really surprised me. And I'm like, I'm so grateful. I'm going to have to bend down here. This is something I've not had the opportunity to do yet. But she gave me, like, unwashed, undone, like, nothing has been done to it, wool in a white and a kind of a, I don't know, that's kind of getting blown out. It's more of a dark grayish tan. I don't know if that's really true to color on the camera, but this is pretty true to color. And, like, a whole bag of it, like a huge bag of it. And I'm so excited. Like, I have always wanted to, like, do a project where I start and, like, wash my own, you know, wash my own fiber and make it into yarn and then make it into something. Like, that's so special to me to be able to, like, do something from start to finish. And I just haven't really gotten around to it, but now I have an excuse and I'm so excited. So if any of you out there have ever done that, and you want to leave, like, tips down below, because it's something I'm going to look forward to trying to do in the next, you know, month or two here, when I get a little bit of extra time. I know it can be kind of a bit of a process, but I'm so, like, I know I've said excited like 25 times, but I'm so excited, guys. And if you're ever in the area, you could check out that farm, because it's awesome. Like, she was so generous. She took my daughter around and showed him the sheep. She showed him the sheep, and she invited them to come back when the lambs are born to see the lambs, and she let her pick eggs from their chickens to take home. And just, like, overall, it was a great experience, and I can't wait to go back, and I think me and her are going to be great friends. So yeah, that's my acquisitions, and let me gather together my 10 million whips, and I will be right back. So my first whip is another sock. Shocker, here it is. I'm trying something new with my socks. I did this with the other 2 blue ones that I made, and I'm finding it that I love it. I've tried it in the past, but it never really stuck, and then for some reason I just really had the urge to try it again, and I was able to get through it, and it's so much easier, honestly. So instead of counting my rows to make 2 socks the same, I don't know if you can really see them. Oh, there you go. I'm using the light bulb stitch markers, and I'm just counting out every 10 rows and putting a stitch marker there, and then I kind of stop while I do the heel flap and gusset. And then I pick back up with the stitch markers every 10 rounds for the foot until I get to the toe. And that way, when I'm making the second sock, I can just knit 10, move the stitch marker over to the next sock, knit another 10, move the stitch marker over to the next sock. Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady does this, and it honestly makes a sock so much more portable because I don't have to worry about carrying around a piece of paper to like tally my rows or, you know, guess and hope just by holding them up to each other that I have the same amount of rows. Apparently I don't live on the edge of that, like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just not me. So the yarn I'm using for this, the heel and the toe are just, I think it's Malabrigo. I think it's maybe the lettuce colorway. Just something that I had in stash that I thought went well with this color. And then the main body of the sock is Yarn Bee Authentic Hand Dyed Blend in the colorway Indigo Desert. It's a 50% superwash merino wool, 50% lyocell. Fingering weight, this is the little, I don't know if it's gonna, here, try that. I don't know if it's gonna focus on that. I haven't figured out how to make things focus yet, but we'll get there. So that's this. To be honest, this isn't my favorite yarn. I've had it in stash forever just because I saw it at a Hobby Lobby. I don't have a Hobby Lobby near me, but like if we're somewhere, I might stop at one. And I saw it at the Hobby Lobby and I absolutely loved the colors of it. And I thought it was just like such a great, you know, because it would be good. It's like neutrals. And I just kind of thought it would be nice to have in my stash. And I got it because one, I love the color, and two, because like the way it feels, I don't know if it really comes across on the camera. I'm not sure like how well you guys can see, but it's kind of like really like shimmery and shiny. And I just thought it looked cool. But it's like very, very, very thin for a fingering weight, which is fine. I really don't, that doesn't bother me. But there's something about, I don't know if it's because it's like the blend. I've never worked with that blend before. There's something about it that I don't know. Like I've done Magic Loop forever and I never really get ladders, and I'm getting like a ladder, which is fine. Like the person that I'm making this for totally isn't going to mind that. But like, as someone who knits socks all the time, it's really bothering me. And like for the price point, you can't beat it. Like it was definitely affordable and it's definitely beautiful. I don't know if I'll necessarily knit with it again. But I'm glad I like tested it out, and I absolutely love like how the colors are coming out. So, yep, that's my sock whip. Okay, so I forgot to mention at the beginning of the whip section, I meant to say this. I am not going to show you all my whips every time because if we did that, we'd be there forever. So I'm just going to show you the whips that I have worked on since the last time I podcasted, if that makes sense. Because otherwise, I'm just going to be showing you guys. I don't always work on every whip every week. Just because I'm a little bit of a whipaholic and I've got so many, I don't have time to do them all, but I don't want to like constantly show you guys like the same thing over and over if nothing has been made progress on. So this is my next whip. You guys saw this last time. It's the Blizzard Sweater by Jessica McDonald. Last time you guys saw it, I was wearing this little bunny stitch markers that my mom made me. So I've made it a good, I don't know, I'm not good at judging distance, but I've made it like a good, you know, at least 5 inches on the body. I'm getting a little bit worried about the amount of yarn I have on this. Oh, I want to show you the ugly backside. And my needles are clanking the table. I'm sorry. I'm I'm getting a little bit worried about the amount of yarn I have left. So I think what I might do is put the body on hold and then just knit the sleeves to his length, and then go back and like do the rest of the body, just so I know I have enough to like make it long sleeve, because he's not into like the 3/4 sleeves. And this is definitely my push whip, because I want to get this done for a birthday present for him, and his birthday is March 19th. So I have about 18 more days to finish this. And it's to the point now where it's just stocking it in the round forever. So I'm having a hard time. Like when I was doing the yoke, this was all I was working on for like days straight. I just could not put it down. But then I got to like the part where it's just like endless stockinette, and it's been harder for me to pick up. But I definitely want to get this done. So I am knitting this in Barocco Vintage. It is a wool nylon acrylic blend. And this is the label. I'm trying to see if there's a colorway. Okay, I'm not even going to bother because they're just number colorways. It's a navy blue, and kind of like, it comes across a little more bright on camera, but it's like a burnt orange with a little bit of a red tinge. So yeah, that is that whip. Hoping to have this done by the next time I podcast, but we'll see. Okay, and then my last whip that I've worked on this past 2 weeks, other than the ones I finished, I frogged my pink velvet by the pink velvet sweater by Andrea Mary. Nothing wrong with the pattern. Like, the pattern is amazing. I just wasn't a fan of how the yarn was playing. I'm not really sure. I just honestly wasn't feeling it anymore. I got past the color work, I got bored, and I wanted to go back to my original idea for making myself a sweater, which is doing kind of an oversized, you know, mohair, wool, held double kind of sweater. And I loved, so the yarn that I had, the Wonderland yarn that I had in the color work of the pink velvet, I just loved it so much. I didn't want to leave it in a project that I wasn't 100% feeling. And I didn't want to knit an entire sweater in fingering weight yarn when I wasn't feeling it. So I ripped it out and I'm repurposing, and I decided to cast on the gingerbread sweater. This is by, I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but a Spastrico. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but I started it about 2 days ago, and this is how far I've gotten. Again, sorry if you can hear the background noise. So I'm knitting this with, this one is Cloudborne Fibers Highland Superwash Sock Twist in the color Charcoal Heather. It's 80% superwash fine Highland wool and 20% polyamide. And this is a little ball band with it. And then, this is what I'm holding it double with. This is Ella Ray Kid Sparkle Mohair Blend with Metallic Sparkle. This is a nylon mohair acrylic blend, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to, the thing is so light. I don't know how to make it focus, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. That's better. I kind of just picked this up because, oh, and this is the pewter colorway. I picked this up at Webb's when I was down there a couple months ago. I don't know if, I can't remember if I showed it or not, because I thought it was just so fun, and it was really affordable because it's, you know, it's got a, you know, it was really affordable, because it's a blend. And I loved this sparkle in it, and it's not super itchy. And I wasn't really sure. I originally was going to hold it with this, but like I knit almost the entire Pink Fizz with this exact combination. and then decided I didn't like it and ripped it out. Again, not on the pattern. The pattern is excellent. Any of Andrea Mowry's patterns are amazing. Anytime I'm going to make a sweater for myself, sometimes I have a hard time picking exactly what I want to do, and I end up ripping it out, which is why I don't have any sweaters for myself and tons for my husband and my mother-in-law. But it is my goal this year to make a sweater for myself because I want to go to Rhinebeck and I want to wear that sweater to Rhinebeck, and I'm determined to get it done. So I hope that this is the one and I'm not ripping out again, because I'm not sure how much more that yarn can take being ripped out. So that's it for my whips that I've worked on this week. And if you want to stick around, I'm going to do a little bit of what I'm calling spreading the fiber love, and maybe a little bit of life talk. And if not, then thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. So yeah, let's get on to spreading fiber love. So this week for spreading fiber love, I wanted to give a shout out to Lauren of Granite State Yarns. She is a New Hampshire dyer who lives on the other side of the state from me. But I've also kind of become a little friendly with her on Instagram. And I've really been interested in like trying to learn how to dye. I don't want to do it as a business or anything like that. I just, I've done the knitting, I've done crochet, I can spin a little bit now, not that I'm good at it, but I've been doing it, and like I feel like the next step in like my fiber journey is to learn how to dye some yarn. And I think it would just be fun because I have knitters in my life, and I think it would be fun to give them as Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, or just to have and make something and be able to say like, look at this, I dyed this. But anyways, that's besides the point. So I was curious about it, and I had a couple thoughts, but I wasn't really getting the answers I needed by watching YouTube videos or looking on Google or whatever. So I messaged Lauren, and I'm like, hey, I have a few questions. I was wondering if you could, help me out a little bit. And like instantly, she was like right on it. Like she messaged me back. She was super helpful. No hesitation. And I was so grateful that someone would take the time to respond to someone who they don't really know. Like I can tell she's just such a great person, and I was just blown away by the fact that she was willing to just message me back and like explain to me what I needed to know. And what made it even more wild is I was a few days later watching her podcast, which I'll try and remember to like link down below if I can figure it out. Again, new to all this stuff. I'm not really sure how to do all this, but anyways, and she was doing her podcast, and she was talking about how she was getting over a really bad case of strep. And I like thought back, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like she was sick when she messaged me. Like she was sick, she wasn't feeling good, and she still took the time to message me back and help me out. And I just like, I don't know if you're watching this, Lauren, but like it really means a lot. And I just love the knitting community, and like this is what inspired me to do the podcast. It's just the help that everyone loves to give to each other, and a place where everyone just kind of belongs. So anyways, yeah. So Lauren, you're great. Everybody you should check out her website. Again, I'll try and link it below or put it on the screen here or something techie that I probably don't know how to do, but I'll figure it out. So yeah, that is my spreading the fiber love for this podcast. So just a little bit about what's been going on in my life. I didn't get it's not super heavy on the whip content like it was last time. And I feel like that kind of just ebbs and flows. I've had a pretty wild 2 weeks since the last time I podcast. I've had a child with a stomach bug that I ended up getting, and my other child got it. And I also had a child who had some dental issues and ended up, you know, being pretty sick from that. So I've done a lot of cuddling on the couch and taking care of my girls. And I kind of realized how much I missed cuddling because, you know, my Ella, she's 8 and she's a little bit older now. And, you know, cuddling isn't necessarily her idea of fun, is cuddling with mom. So having that back and, you know, having my little girl, I don't know, I just really enjoyed that time. And then I also went to knit night with my friend Corinne when I talked about that earlier. And we talked about maybe trying to start like a little yarn knitting group in our area. So I'm not really sure, like we don't have any concrete plans or anything, like we were just talking about it. But like if anyone is in southwestern New Hampshire and is interested in that sort of thing, message me, because, you know, we thought about doing that. And the only other thing that really happened besides like work and school and normal life is Saturday night. We did a birthday party for one of my family members, and we all got together, and I made my homemade chili, and my daughter and my niece helped decorate a cake for her, and I made a cheesecake, and we ended up ending it a little early because Ella, that was when her tooth pain kind of came on, and she wasn't feeling the greatest, but it was a really good time while it lasted. And yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on in my life. So that's enough rambling from me. I'm so happy that all of you came back to see it. I hope I was a little less nervous this time, and I'm sure as things go along and I do it more, it'll just become more of a second nature. And I really want to see what everyone's working on. So I'm not really sure how this works, but I kind of just started using the hashtag on Instagram, JewelsKnits for Bamma. And I thought maybe if other people wanted to use that too, then I could see what you guys are working on. And it's an easy way for us to just kind of connect. But I'm always looking for yarny fiber friends, so message me on Instagram or here on YouTube or whatever. And I'll try to be back here in another 2 weeks. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and a good weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye!